Hello and welcome to Spectrum News at 4. I am Uyai Anyekan, coming to you live from the beautiful hills of Ibiakuran in Akwa Ibom State. Let's take a look at the headlines. President Buhari to inaugurate projects in Kogi on Thursday. INEC declares 1-year jail term, 500,000 fine for vote buyers. Plus, Russia's Putin and China's Xi to confer this week. We'll bring you details of these stories and more in a moment. Thanks for joining us. We begin with a report that President Muhammadu Buhari is expected to inaugurate legacy projects of Governor Yahaya Bello's administration in Kogi State on Thursday. Consequently, the Kogi State government has declared Thursday a public holiday as the state prepares to receive the president. A statement issued by the State Commissioner for Information and Communications, Kingsley Fenwo, urged the people of the state to turn out in good number to receive the president and display the hospitality they are known for. The state government also urged all labor unions and security agencies in Kogi State to ensure full compliance with the directive. Meanwhile, President Muhammadu Buhari has proposed stiff penalties of up to 20 million naira against first offenders among oil companies operating in the country, which fail to comply with the provisions of the Petroleum Profits Tax Act. He also proposed an additional 2 million naira daily after the first offense. The stiff penalties and several other provisions, which include payment of tax on digital assets, are contained in the 2022 Finance Act recently sent to the National Assembly by the President to guide the Companies Income Tax Act, Personal Income Tax Act, and Petroleum Profit Tax Act, amongst others. In the meantime, President Muhammadu Buhari has said after leaving office, he'll retire to his hometown of Dara, Katsina State, far away from the epicenter of the 2023 political activities. President Buhari stated this when he hosted a delegation of Abuja residents led by the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Mohammed Bello, at the State House, Abuja. The president also said he had only one house in Dara to retire to after his tenure lapses. Inmates in the Buhari-led administration expressed delight that the meeting held after it was halted for 2 years, 2020 and 2021, due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Away from that, the federal government has proposed the suspension of tax relief and rebates being granted to companies established in locations lacking public infrastructure. By the National Assembly, the government has sought amendments to the Capital Gains Tax Act, which seeks to end Reconstruction Investment Allowance and Rural Investment Allowance, among others. Recall that President Buhari had last week transmitted the Finance Bill to Supplementary Appropriation Bill and 2023 Appropriation Bill. Meanwhile, the Minister of Works and Housing, Babatunde Fashola, has stated that the improved road infrastructure in public universities has technically enhanced students' desire to learn. He stated this during the inauguration and handover of some rehabilitated roads in Alex Ekweme Federal University, Ebonyi State, and Yaba College of Tafite from road projects initiated by the ministry. Fashola, who was represented by the Federal Controller of Works, Ebonyi State, Steve Oluwadom, and the Controller of Works in Lagos State, Umar Bakare, explained that the intervention work aimed at improving the quality of education was gradually bridging the gap of infrastructure needs in tertiary institutions. In politics, Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) says 1 year imprisonment or a fine of 500,000 naira awaits anyone found guilty of buying votes during the 2023 elections. The electoral umpire was prepared to conduct all the elections with the BVS machine to ensure free and fair elections. He said the machine would identify voters, while those who have registered more than once will not be able to vote. Professor Mohammed said the commission had received over 156 permanent voter cards, PVCs, those who had registered but were yet to collect their PVCs to do so before the closing date. On security, the Inspector General of Police, Usman Baba, has condemned and ordered an investigation into this man attached to I.G.P Police Station, Aja, Lagos State. This was as the I.G.P ordered the prosecution of all police officers involved. The force spokesperson Olumuyiwa Dejobi confirmed this in a statement. Earlier, Lagos State Police Command had urged Lagosians to remain calm, saying the command will ensure justice prevailed in the extrajudicial killing of a lawyer, Bolale Brahim. The forensic and chemical analysis capacity of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, as well as its intelligence gathering and prosecution capabilities. The latest support from the U.S. Department of State Bureau of International Narcotics and Law Enforcement Affairs comes on the heels of an award of view initiative. The spokesperson for the NDLEA, Femi Babafemi, announced the development in a statement today. Elsewhere, data obtained from the National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, NAPTIP, has shown that the agency rescued no fewer than 1,660 trafficked persons during the year. The agency also rescued 190 Nigerians from 13 countries across the world, including Mali, Libya, and the United, over 10,000 cases of human trafficking and prosecuted over 500 defaulters. In Lagos, a special joint arrangement by the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited and 30,000 member independent petroleum marketers will lead the beginning next month. The move is part of the arrangement by the government and stakeholders in the fuel supply chain to find a permanent solution to the lingering fuel scarcity in the country. A statement by officials of the NNPC Limited and the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria says the stakeholders had agreed and selected Lagos, Port Harcourt by IPMAN. Reports say the conclusion, which was reached after a series of meetings between NNPC Limited and IPMAN, is expected to boost fuel supply across the country and probably put an end to the persistent fuel queues across the country. Back here, Akwa Ibom State Governor Dom Emmanuel has charged parents to engage their children in godly activities at tender age, to order their path in godliness early enough as a means to institute acceptable behavioral patterns. Governor Emmanuel, who gave the admonition during a Christmas service at the United Evangelical Church Awaiman or non-local government area, thanked the church for supporting his administration through prayers, maintaining that the great feat recorded by his administration could be traced to grace powered by fervent prayers from the church. Earlier in a sermon with the theme "The Prince of Peace," the resident pastor of United Evangelical Church Awaiman, the Reverend Umo, said the gathering of Christians to celebrate Christmas, signifying the reign of wickedness in the world, decided to send his son Jesus Christ to redeem man out of bondage, insisting that it was necessary to commemorate the event by Christians. Government House correspondent Jane Uwa reports that. Still to come in the news. England rugby second rower leaves Wigan to join West Tigers. Do stay with us.
One truth not often told is about the transformation that Africa has undergone. In recent decades, Africa is shaping its own destiny and should be referred to as the African opportunity. On Spotlight Africa, we paint the African picture the African way, laced with truth, detail, and the color of the African continent. Join Uyai Anyekan every Tuesday and Thursdays at 4:30 p.m. Spotlight Africa, telling the African story.
Police powers with the president as stipulated by the constitution. We do not have a federal government police force. We have the Nigeria Police Force, which shall be administered, organized, and supervised by the Nigerian police force.
No, my lord, I want to say something. I want to say something here. Perhaps it might also enlarge the scope of people who should be invited here for examination. My lord, if we cannot find those who literally...
Some of the killings he did,
he never did.
He linked you with the attempted murder of Hebrew.
He did not.
My lord, the matters council is leading the evidence in our matters.
Is this an adversary proceeding?
It's not, my lord, but we can't be talking about cases which are in court.
Is this an adversary proceeding?
It's not, my lord. These cases are in court.
That deals with legal issues and questions we face as citizens of this amazing country, Nigeria. Legally Speaking. Join us every
Friday from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m.
for Legally Speaking.
Thanks for staying tuned, and now to the rest of the news. In Africa, a high-level Ethiopian team today arrived in the capital of rebel-held Tigray for a first official visit following a peace deal aimed at ending a brutal two-year conflict. An Ethiopian government statement said the delegation visiting the Tigrayan capital, Mekele, by House of People's Representatives Speaker Tagiz Shafo, and includes Redwan Hussein, who is the security advisor to Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed, as well as the Ministers of Justice and Transport, Communications and Labour, the head of Ethiopia's Road Infrastructure Authority, and the heads of Ethiopian Airlines and Ethio Telecom, Mesfin Tesiu and Fedwood Tamiru are also present. Tigrayan photographs showed the delegation greeted by rebel authorities, including their spokesman, Getchu Rida. Still in Africa, Sudan's troubled western region of Darfur has killed at least 12 people over the past few days. Regal noted that the clashes between herdsmen and farmers in the Belil area in South Darfur province also wounded at least 42 people. Local authorities say the clashes grew out of an attempt by herdsmen to loot a motorized rickshaw known as tuk-tuk in the village of Amari, killing one person. The fighting escalated over the weekend when herdsmen and the local population traded to stop the clashes. Regal said the aid group counted 12 dead in the fighting, and the tally could be higher as many villages in the area were either burned down or looted. On the foreign scene, Russian President Vladimir Putin and his Chinese counterpart Xi Jinping will speak before the end of the year. We recall that Putin and Xi had proclaimed a no-limits partnership between the two countries when the Russian leader visited Beijing in February, 3 weeks before his invasion of Ukraine. The partnership with China has taken on even greater importance for Putin, though he publicly acknowledged in September that Beijing has expressed questions and concern over Ukraine. Meanwhile, Ukraine is planning to call for Russia to be removed as a permanent member of the United Nations Security Council today. Ukrainian Foreign Minister Dmytro Kuleba confirmed the decision during a national television marathon. Kuleba said the question of Russia's veto-wielding permanent seat on the council, also held by the United States, Britain, France and China, was already being discussed around the diplomacy circles. Authorizing military action and approving changes to the United Nations Charter. The permanent five carrying veto power can block any resolution and reflect the power dynamics at the end of World War II. Elsewhere, South Korea is accusing the North of flying several drones across their shared border today, prompting Seoul's military to deploy warplanes and fire warning shots toward them off. In a statement, the joint air space at 10:25 a.m., the incursion prompted Seoul to fire warning shots and deploy fighter jets and attack helicopters. Away from that, a relentless winter storm brought Christmas state danger and misery to millions of Americans this holiday weekend as intense snow and frigid cold gripped parts of the eastern United States. At least 34 deaths are being blamed on the storm. A crisis situation was unfolding in Buffalo, in western New York, where a blizzard has left the city marooned with emergency services unable to reach high-impact areas. New York Governor Kathy Hochul, who is the 8-foot snowdrift against front doors and power outages in freezing temperatures in Buffalo, have made for life-threatening conditions. More than 200,000 people across several eastern states woke up without power on Christmas morning, and many more had their holiday travel lines of easing. On our business news, the World Bank Group has said that the estimated per capita income growth of 0.7% for Nigeria and the rest of sub-Saharan Africa in 2022 is insufficient to meet the challenging goals of poverty reduction and shared prosperity in the medium to long term. In its new report titled Africa Trends, which were already derailed by the pandemic, had slowed further. According to the report, the pandemic has induced a lasting impact on long-term growth, affecting particularly the poorest people and increasing extreme poverty. Based Bank added that the weak rebound of the Nigerian economy in the aftermath of the pandemic, along with the setback from rising inflation, was insufficient to undo pandemic-induced job and income losses. Still into the NBS Selected Food Prices Watch report for November 2022, released in Abuja today. The report said the average price of 1 kg boneless beef on a year-on-year basis increased by 29% from 1,822. In health, the Chief Medical Director of Federal Teaching Hospital, Ado-Ekiti, Professor Adekunle Ajayi, has urged stakeholders in the country's health sector to fashion out ways to address brain drain in the sector to avert a looming disaster. Ajayi, who said that all stakeholders must quickly come together to address the emerging workforce disaster, stressed on the need to begin to look toward the specific manpower needs of Nigeria in the health sector. The professor of medicine said something drastic needed to be done. Who would want to become health professionals and at the same time badly affecting service delivery in the hospital setting and as well as service delivery in terms of medical education. In sports, Wigan Warriors have confirmed that back rower John Bettman will leave with immediate effect to sign a 4-year deal with West Tigers in the NRL. The 29-year-old had been in talks for several months with the Tigers and has now been reluctantly released by Super League heavyweights Wigan 2019 and 2020. He made 34 appearances for the side, scoring 8 tries and featured in their grand final defeat in his first year. On our entertainment news, Nigerians have reacted to singer Wizkid's comment on his last paid concert in Lagos. Recall that the Grammy winner at his Flight Time concert on Saturday, the 24th of December 2022, said the show would be the last time his fans will be paying to see him perform in Nigeria. The statement generated hearty cheers from those present and across social media, where fans were thrilled at the prospect of watching their and for how long he can keep up the free show considering the resources required to put it together. And that's all we have for you at this time. Do ensure to follow us on social media, subscribe to our YouTube channel, all of which you can find on our website, spectrumtv.ng. You have been watching Spectrum TV News at 4. I am Uyai Anieka. Thanks for watching and do enjoy the rest of your evening.